Okay, I'm 10 minutes into the above recording. The recording comprehension. S1230, or the number NZ above. One just before this in NZ series. You need to be preoccupied with the presence of God, in Paramahansa's case, he's settling for the Guru. He needed to be in the presence of his Guru. He could practice meditating at home, but do you see that's not as important as being with the Guru? And it's the same for you. You can practice any number of different practices that are in some sense registered as being part of the path, the way to God. But it's nothing like as good as your preoccupation of mind with him. Do you see what was transforming me, or for good or for ill you might think, but was simply being in the presence of Mum. And I knew it, I'm not happy unless I'm with Mum. Do you see? Company is more important than some practice. When you are taken with your love of God, that's far more important than stopping that and practicing. That would be a retrograde step. When you've received enlightenment, you don't keep on the bus, you get off, you've got there, you've arrived. You know, you leave the car outside, you're home and dry, you're in. You don't stay in the car and keep driving. I've arrived. The real lesson hiding in the story, in the autobiography, is you sort of think blatantly obvious, but you miss it completely. His progress is when he's actually with the one he's devoted to. And that devotion, of course, keeps him there. And the result is his life is transformed by the company of Sri Yukteswar or Mum or whoever your saviour is. So the convert to Christianity might be utterly absorbed in reading the Gospels. They think, oh, he's obsessed, he's always carrying his flaming Bible, for goodness sake. Yes. That's where he is. He's getting the company of what's transforming him. It's not quite the same as an academic analysis of Bible study, as it's called, you know. I mean, it's not that. It's not the practice of the rituals of going to church. What's doing it is the company of God. That you find your mind is captivated by, preoccupation with, thinking of God. Drawn, fascinated. This is what you want to be doing, and this is what you are doing. In other words, you need to know what you value. Its relationship to our Heavenly Dad. And anyone else that has the same goals and love and preoccupation is an absolute blessing to you. And therefore, you see, in a sense, the mundane advice that, don't forsake the fellowship of the godly, other Christians in terms of St. Paul's view. Well, if the notion of Christian had existed then, but other followers, don't forsake the gathering of yourselves together. But it must be those of like mind, not those who are bored out of their mind with being there and preoccupied with what they're going to cook for lunch, and I have to keep going to church on Sunday morning because that's what we have to do, but this sermon's driving me mad. It's so utterly boring, and the ritual's meaningless, and these people not loving each other anyway. I mean, that's no good. That's not transforming you. That's not good company. One new convert that's on fire is infinitely better company than that. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Heavenly Dad. Look, you see the obvious, don't you? The autobiography is not an autobiography at all. It's an account of all the wonderful company he's met in life and quite deliberately pursued. He's gone to see every saint and crackpot and miracle worker that's on the menu. Anywhere in the world, all his life. And it transformed him. Fantastic company. That's what I do. In a trivial way, you might think, but my little way. I go to everything that claims to be enlightened, whether it's philosophy, Rosicrucianism, Seventh-day Adventists, Anglican, Methodist, Pentecostal, Ananda, Hindu temple, Sikh temple. I'm just searching out, looking always for transforming company. And when I find it, I settle for it. If I get disillusioned with it, yes, I move on. That's true. I don't disregard the value it's been to me, of course. It's everyone's genuine in their own perspective and understanding. The most secular person you come across, he still wants you to be like him because he thinks this is the only answer, and therefore he wants you to have it. The important thing is to realize your own poverty in a sense, and that you need the best company that's available. And it's likely that the best company that's actually available over a period of time is pretty good compared to where you are at present. It's very uplifting. It's a great help. I'm almost tempted to say the temporary guru, but we have an amazing horizon view, which is the sunshine of God, sonship of God, the rising sun, in a sense. The magnificence of the fullness and wonderfulness of God is what's driving us to seek out fine company that's also devoted to God that we haven't come to understand yet, but we have a longing for. So the pilgrimage is a strange practice. It's ever walking towards your goal. And John Bunyan's Pilgrim's Progress, every step of the way turns out to be a lesson, a learning situation. Again, even, the Slough of Despond is an experience of, oh, I don't like this, I'm not staying in this sort of thing. A longing for. Even the problem of walking up the hill with the burden on your back. Is worthwhile because it led to a situation where all the burden fell off. Enlightenment, you see. Conversion, in the Christian understanding. Life is indeed a pilgrimage, a walking towards. And it's in that autobiography. It's focused on the miraculous, the wonderful, the supernatural. What is God? What is... early on, Paramahansa's absolutely clear. He doesn't want to be married. No way, he says to his guru. You know that. And of course, the guru is just pointing it out to him that realize what your dedication is. Doesn't need to be with his guru forever. He's graduated. What's he called to do? Go to America. He goes, just like that. His dad, of course, is appalled. Wants you to stay at home. His guru isn't. Says, all the doors are open to you. Interestingly, this is not enough from his guru. He's desperate to get confirmation from something higher. Babaji, as a personification of God to him. And, he's absolutely desperate. He gets to such a crescendo that he's going to be dead if Babaji doesn't turn up. So he does. Whether Babaji existed or not, it will make no difference. He's got to turn up, hasn't he? And yet again, of course, the company of such transforms, gives the Paramahansa the peace of mind to leave India and, in fact, dwell in America for the rest of his life. Travelling the world, you see, travelling all of the continent of North of America and so on. So the autobiography in that sense is the revelation. It's just an account, a record of all the amazing company he's kept. Right down to Rajasi, who is both his financier, the key one, and saintly company. They delight in each other's company. Even Kriyananda, who's only with him in the last 4 years, is the crowning glory of Paramahansa's association with people. Kriyananda is utterly devoted to him and does what Paramahansa couldn't do in his time. Builds these huge international Ananda communities. I think there's 9 or 10 of them across the world, but lots of centres as well, and many people who are in the following of the Ananda community, of course. Do you see your company that you choose is everything to your arrival, to your pilgrimage? Who you travel with, who you meet with. The circumstances, yes, that you experience, but you move on. Thank you, Heavenly Dad.